दशरथ जनकू हंस बंसु दशरथ जनकू राम लखन से भाई हंस बंसु दशरथ जनकू राम लखन से भाई जानी तू जानी भाई सनक तू नाम साय सिया भजू रामचंद्र की जय प्रभु. Here Bharat continued to say to his mother, Ansa Bansu Dasaratha Janaku Rama Lakhan se bhai Jani tu jani bhai nidhi Sanakachu nabasai. Said, descended from the son lineage, descended from the son lineage. I have Dasrath as a father, Ram and Lakshman as brothers, and then I have you for a mother. And he said, but one cannot argue against fate. One cannot argue against fate. And here Bharat continue and his strength, focusing on his lineage, focusing on his tradition, and yet at the same time denouncing his mother who trying to give him this kingdom. So the character of Bharat is telling us that in this world it doesn't really matter how much material wealth we have. Material wealth will come and go. Material wealth will come and go. But what will remain is our karma, our action. And here Bharat is saying that none of these things really matter. What I want to be that devoted brother. I want to be that son who will follow this tradition of our family lineage. That we should not waver. I don't want to waver from that. And this is the story of our life also. When we look around, like I said earlier, we look around, we can see that when you look in this, what we call this Kali age, this age of darkness, when we look around, you can find that how family are tearing family apart because of material wealth. How friends are pitted against friends because of material wealth. How brothers are fighting against brothers for material wealth. And here, Bharat is saying to his mother that I come from this lineage, I come from this family. These are the people who I want to associate with, but then I have you as a mother. But he can't argue against fate. Interesting concept that when someone is saying that we don't want this material thing, we don't want it, we want to give it up. That to the extent what someone will do not to have it. And you have on the opposite side of that scale is that when people want material wealth, the things they will do to get it, the mileage they will go, the crookedness that would involve, all the deception that would involve, the robbery, the coquetry, you name it, it involves because they want this material wealth. And yet, at the end of the day, when they sit back and look at it, when they get it, what do they do with it? Today, tomorrow, they die, they leave it, and it's all remain behind. The only difference between a man who has $1 billion and a man who doesn't have any money, the only difference there is, one of them will bury in a casket that probably worth $25,000, and one of them will bury in a cardboard box that's only worth $5. Because at the end of the day, we all will go into the ground. It has no value. So all the material wealth that you gain, all the material wealth you want, it's all going to leave behind. Have anybody ever gone to a funeral procession And see right behind the casket, there's a U-Haul coming with all this material wealth? No, we don't see that. So, I haven't seen one yet, I'm hoping to see one. So, this is what happens to our life. This is what Bharat is telling his mother here, that this material wealth, that I don't want it. And it shouldn't belong to me, but Dasarath is my father, Ram and Lakshman is my brother, but I have you for a mother. But I cannot argue against fate, because you happen to be, my mother happened to be born from you. So there's nothing I can do there. So Bharat continued on this notion, and he said, Jabate kumati kumati jetayahu, Jabate kumati kumati jetayahu, kanda kanda hoi hirdai nagayahu, bar magana mana vainai tira garina
Sri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Sri Ram Jai Ram.
When you ask for the food, is your heart not breaking into a million pieces? Is your heart not breaking into a million pieces? And while asking for this food, is your tongue not down in the mouth and the heart? By a son. How more insulting word can be uttered by a son to a mother? That here Bharat is saying to his mother that you are not only fit to be my mother, you are an evil person. Very, very evil. And the worst thing a son can do is to insult the mother this way. That Bharat felt that his family has been destroyed because of his mother. The whole Raghukul race is on the verge of being destroyed because of his mother. Everything that his father has worked for is basically on the verge of being destroyed. And now Bharat has feel that within himself he cannot go along with this scheme that his mother had plotted for him. He feels that within his mind there is no way he can ever accept this. And by having a relationship with his mother, by condoning his mother's behavior, he will become just as guilty as mother. And he wanted no part of that. So hence, he uttered these words to his mother, to let his mother know that that relationship that exists between the two of them once will no longer be there. All will, you can say the word, cease to exist. But Bharat did not want that relationship anymore. That relationship has now been severed. That relationship has been severed. And Bharat went on to say, Bhup Prititi Tohi Kimi Kini Maramana Kala Vidi mati hai leeni रूप प्रतीति तोही मर मन काल बीती मति हरीनी बीज मुना नरी हृदय गति जानी सकल परम अगर अवगुण खानी श्री राम जय
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama
Jai Jai Rama. And here Bharat continued said to his mother, said, how the king ever trusted you, such a noble man, and yet he trusted you. He said, God must have robbed him of his senses. Isn't it? He said, God must have robbed him of his senses every time he trusts you. Now here Bharat is telling his mother that this king, this noble man, trusted you. So when he trusted you, when he put his trust in you, that God must have robbed him of his senses. And he went on to say that, no one could detect the heart of an evil woman. No one could detect the heart of an evil woman. Because at one moment, she will be really nice and sweet and loving and caring, and the next moment she will be ready to start moving. This is what he's saying. This is what he's saying to his mother. That this man trusted you, noble character, trusted you, and look what you have done to him. And look what you have done to him. So Bharat is telling his mother these things because of the fact that he would never condone her behavior. He wanted her to know that this is what I think about you. This is how I feel about you. What you have done. What you have done to this family. What you have done to this kingdom. That you are the root cause now of all these problems that we encountered. So Bharat telling this to his mother so that his mother would understand or try to have this feeling within herself that this relationship between her and her son is no longer there. Is no longer be there. And this is Bharat way in getting back to his mother. This is Bharat way in telling his mother that whatever you did is not acceptable to me. Whatever you're trying to do, I do not want it. Whatever you're trying to give me, I would never be happy with it. So therefore, this relationship now, I'm going to sever this relationship. He would end this relationship for that simple reason of this material wealth that his mother wanted to give him, and this material wealth he doesn't want. Bharat character, it tells us that we as individuals, we have choices in our life. All of us have choices. And some of us make good choices, and some of us make bad choices. But sometimes when we make bad choices, we can recover from that bad choices by correcting those behaviors. That we can make those choices, we can correct those behaviors if we want to. Only if we want to, then will happen. If we do not want to correct those behavior, they would never be corrected because we choose not to do it. We have choices. Each and every one of us have choices. And that choice we make today, tomorrow, next week, next month, wherever we make our choices, those choices have some impact and our lives. Those have some impact in our lives. And this is what happened to all of us. All of us, we go through the cycle in life. Birth and death, we go through the cycle. We go through the cycle of happiness and sorrow. Life has this scale, it goes up and down. One moment we're happy, next moment we're sad. Next moment we're happy again, and then we'll be sad again. It goes through the cycle of happiness and sorrow. But that happiness and sorrow exists within each and every one of us. It does not exist outside. It does not exist anywhere else but within each and every one of us. And each and every one of us have that choice. That we choose to be happy or we can choose to be sad. Sometimes people will say things to you and the longer you dwell with that, the longer you will feel that uneasiness or that upsetness you have will continue. That will continue as long as you keep on dwelling with it. As long as you continue to be with that, that will be there. But once you sever that relationship from that sadness, once you sever that relationship with the sadness, you will be closer to the person. In the last time, Swamiji was talking about the mind, and the mind is a reflection of us. We are our own image. When we are sad and we look into the mirror, we see a long face. We see a very unhappy person. When we are happy, we see a joyful, smiling, happy face. That's the reflection of our mind. That's who we are. That's what we are. And that's how our mind controls us. So, Mamuji was talking last night, and they keep saying in the Mandira that our mind is divided into two parts. I said Buddhi and the Manas. And what is the word you used?
Conscious and the subconscious.
Conscious and subconscious. He talks about conscious and subconscious. I talk about the Manas and the Buddhi. Means the same thing. Remember, the Manas look outward, identify with the five senses, sees outwardly. And the Buddhi look inward. Let us examine ourselves before we say and before we do. The Buddhi and the Manas, conscious or subconscious. This means the same thing. But just how we control them. And the closer you can get your Buddhi to the Manas, our life objective should be that we want our Buddhi must always be greater than the Manas. And as long as our Buddhi will be greater than our Manas, we'll always find ourselves to be calm, serene, quite happy, nothing will bother us. We have this wonderful relationship. The further apart the Manas is from the Buddhi, we have someone who is very antsy, who is very agitated, who will act on impulses, and who will do things without not thinking about the consequences. When the Buddhi is closer, the Buddhi let you think before you act. We let you have this wonderful relationship with yourself. And that's what it's about, that how do we get this relationship with ourselves, that we want to make sure that we're happy. Because happiness comes from within. Happiness lies within each and every one of us. And each and every one of us will know that happiness, where that happiness is. And I want to understand the Tulsidas.